In just 6 seasons in Beantown, Kevin Garnett made his mark with one of the NBA's oldest and greatest franchises. The Celtics made the playoffs in all 6 of KG's seasons in Boston, 3 conference finals, and 1 NBA championship. He won a Defensive Player of the Year award, made 5 All-Star teams while averaging 15.7 points and 8.3 rebounds per game. Isaiah Thomas may be the next active Celtic to take a spot in the top 15, but he's got a way to go before he can catch Kevin Garnett. At 6'8", 185 pounds, Ed McHale would be a small forward or a 2-guard in today's NBA. In the 1950s, he was one of the most dominant big men in the league. He was one of the rare Celtics greats to never win a title with the franchise, but he did make the All-Star team in all 6 seasons in Boston before being traded to the St. Louis Hawks along with Cliff Hagan for some guy named Bill Russell in 1956. Tom Satch Sanders is often regarded as one of the most underrated Celtics of all time. He spent 11 years with the team as a player, and he was one of the game's first ever defensive specialists. He helped guide the team to 8 NBA championships as one of the first members of the all-defensive team when the honors were created. He paved the way for the Bruce Bowen and Tony Allens of the world. JoJo White was an essential member of the Celtics title teams in the 1970s. He was a 7-time All-Star, and he won the NBA Finals MVP award in 1976. During his 10 seasons with the Celtics, White averaged 18.4 points, 4.3 rebounds, 5.1 assists, and 1.3 steals per game. In his 10 seasons with the Boston Celtics, Big Red won 2 NBA titles, a league MVP and Rookie of the Year. He also made 8 All-Star teams. For the first 8 seasons of his career, Cowens averaged at least 16 points and 13.9 rebounds per game. The 6'9" left-handed center was the 4th pick in the 1970 NBA draft, and he was known for his hustle and defense. Cowens retired after the 79-80 season, but he attempted a comeback before the 82-83 campaign. But the C's dealt him to the Milwaukee Bucks for Quinn Buckner. He played in 40 games before being waived, and he retired for good. The Chief was the lesser-known member of the Celtics' Big Three in the 1980s. His defense and consistent offense was a major part of 3 Celtics championship teams. Parish made 9 All-Star teams, 7 in a row from 81 to 87. He was also a 3-time All-NBA selection. The Celtics got Parish in what turned out to be one of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. In 1980, the Golden State Warriors sent Parish and a draft pick that would turn out to be Kevin McHale to the Celtics for 2 first-round picks that turned out to be Ricky Brown and Joe Barry Carroll. The man of 1,000 fakes was one of the greatest low-post scorers in the history of the NBA. If you wanted to teach a young player the art of footwork in the post, watching Kevin McHale is like watching a tutorial. He won 3 NBA titles with the Celtics and proved he had much more to his game than just scoring, with 3 all-defense selections as well. Tommy Heinsohn played 9 seasons in the NBA, and all of them were with the Boston Celtics, and he won a title in all but 1 season. That's almost unbelievable, but it's true. He also won the Rookie of the Year in 1957 and made 6 All-Star teams and 4 All-NBA teams. Heinsohn averaged 18.6 points and 8.8 rebounds per game in his career. The Truth spent 15 campaigns with the Boston Celtics. Only one player spent more seasons with the franchise. Pierce won a league title in 2008 and took home the NBA Finals MVP. He also averaged 21.8 points per game in the Celtics uniform. Over his career in Boston, Pierce made 10 All-Star teams and was voted All-NBA 4 times. Pierce was to the Celtics in the 2000s what Larry Bird was to the organization in the 1980s. Sam Jones won 10 NBA titles in 12 seasons with the Boston Celtics. Jones was one of the first great shooting guards in NBA history. He averaged 17.7 points per game in his career. His career did get off to a slow start, but he steadily became an integral part of the Celtics dynasty. He raised his scoring average in each of his first 7 seasons in the league and made 5 All-Star teams and was voted All-NBA 3 times. After spending his rookie season with the Washington Capitals, Bill Sharman was acquired by the Fort Wayne Pistons and then traded to the Boston Celtics for Chuck Shear in 1951. Sharman would play the next 10 seasons with Boston. He was an 8-time All-Star and 7-time All-NBA selection. Sharman was a part of 4 NBA championship teams in Beantown. He also averaged 18.1 points per game in his career with the Celtics. Bob Cousy, aka the Houdini of the hardwood, was the original flashy point guard, and he was also a winner. He played in 13 seasons with the Celtics, all as an All-Star, before retiring in 1963. He'd attempted an ill-fated comeback in 1969 at age 41, but the Celtics dealt him to the Cincinnati Royals for Bill Dinwiddie. During Cousy's career, he won 6 league championships, led the league in assists 8 times, made 12 All-NBA teams, and won the league MVP in 1957. John Havlicek played 16 seasons with the Celtics. That's the most in franchise history. He won an NBA title in 8 of those seasons, played in 13 All-Star games, made 8 All-Defensive teams, 11 All-NBA teams, and he won the NBA Finals MVP in 1974. Havlicek never averaged less than 14 points per game in a season and scored more than 20 per game in 8 straight campaigns. Larry Legend is quite simply one of the greatest small forwards and players in the history of the NBA. Bird led the Celtics to 3 NBA titles while being selected to 12 All-Star teams, 10 All-NBA squads, and 3 All-Defensive teams. His all-around game is nearly unmatched in the history of the game. Bird also won Rookie of the Year in 1980, 2 Finals MVPs, and 3 League MVPs. Few have had a career haul that is more impressive than Bird's. Bill Russell might be the greatest winner in the history of team sports. He played 13 seasons in the NBA, all with the Celtics, and he won an NBA title in 11 of them. Russell's rebounding and defense revolutionized the game. He led the league in rebounding 5 times, and his 22.4 rebounds per game is the second highest per game average in history. He was elected to 12 All-Star teams, the first ever All-Defensive team in 1969, 11 All-NBA teams, and he won an insane 5 league MVPs. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has won more.